What's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated. We are live, and we're going to be talking about toys today. Slow news week for toys, as far as I'm concerned. I will sort of preface by saying, in terms of things that I like, things that I'm excited about, releases that I'm, pre-ordering or anything like that. There wasn't much going on this week. However, there were a lot of, or there feels like there's a lot of deliveries. It feels like there's a lot of things, that have been on pre-order for a long time that are getting delivered. So, it's kind of that time of year, right? It's the end of the fiscal year for a lot of these companies. So they're trying to get a lot of things sort of out and into the market rather than pre-orders. Pre-orders don't really, affect the bottom line as much as, actually delivering the product. So I think that's kind of where we're at typically this time of year. And then for me personally, I will say that, I'm receiving a lot of stuff, but I'm also sort of thinking about 2026. I'm thinking about my most anticipated figures video. I'm thinking of my favorite figures of 2025 video. I'm thinking about my collection tour video, which I didn't do last year, but I'm going to do one this year. I hope. If all goes well. But it's that time of year, right? I think when we hit Thanksgiving, and then that just sort of, does it start further back? Does it start at Halloween? Is it sort of like the end of the year is effectively Halloween now? You got October 31st is Halloween, and then you got Thanksgiving, and then you got Christmas, and then it's like, I think that whole season, this whole time of year, the end last week of October all the way through sort of first week of January feels like it's the end of the year, which is crazy because that's 2.5 months kind of thing. But anyway, I digress. We're here to talk about toys, and by that I mean I'm here to talk about toys. You guys are here to listen to me talk about toys, which is crazy. It still blows my mind, and thank you to anybody that's watching this. The whole reason that I do this is because this is sort of my way of interacting with the toy community, interacting with a community that I love, interacting with a community that I had not been a part of up until fairly recently. And I say this a lot, but it really is, it is true for me, living in a relatively small Western Canadian city all my life. I never imagined that I would be, doing the things that I'm doing sort of in the toy collecting world and space and sort of community. So thank you guys. There's probably way better shows on right now live that you could be watching. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. It really does mean a lot to me. So on that note, let me say hello to the chat. Gady's Toys is here, says slow news week, but huzzah, E-Honda. I love E-Honda, and I'm so excited about this figure. The thing that I was most angry about this week was that Jada put up that he goes up for pre-order next week. that I couldn't pre-order it now. And I know people have different feelings about pre-orders, but E-Honda looks amazing. And we'll get to E-Honda. Larry's Geeky World is here as well. Josh Brown Toys. And Josh says, I'm perfectly good with slow news week for a while. Yeah, I'm kind of, with the amount of stuff that we're getting hit with, like the amount of stuff, like I'm literally looking at my pile of stuff that's unopened. And it is, I'm not exaggerating, not exaggerating when I say it's a mountain of stuff. It's a 1/18th scale mountain, mind you, but I think in a 1/18th scale, it's virtually a mountain. Mr. Ryan Clark says, good evening. You're my entertainment on a long public transit ride home this evening. Well, thank you for being here, Mr. Ryan Clark, as always. Who else? Let's see. Ray Paz is here as well. That's long ass intro music. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was a little bit late. So I was running the intro music while I was kind of getting my lights on and my microphone turned on and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be that long. It was that long on purpose. So John from the Collecting Brothers is here as well. Mr. Ryan Clark said, you see Christmas decor starting in September in some stores. Absolutely. I was, where was I? I was in a store this week and they had Christmas music on and I thought that was a little bit premature. I think I might kind of Christmas up, some of these shelves here and dance while I do it. But I was like, do I do it now? Do I wait until next weekend? So I don't think I'm going to do it until December. I think December for me, if you got Christmas decorations and it's December, it's all good. I think that's sort of the time, that's the time for Christmas decor. So, Geek Fusion TV is here as well. And that looks like everybody that's in the chat, at least. If you are watching and you're not in the chat, that's totally cool. Totally understand. If you want to just, put an ellipsis even in the chat. Where did I see that? There's a Toy Tube, channel where, people that don't necessarily want to interact with the chat, but just want to sort of mention that they're here. You just put a little ellipsis. If you don't know what an ellipsis is, that's fine. That's the 3 dots. That's the put that in the chat. I'm always curious who's here. Josh, you can't put it in if you're already commenting. This is the comment, but it's Toy Migos. That's what it is. Toy Migos says, sort of throws it out there. And I thought that was really, really cool, actually. I genuinely thought that was like a cool thing where, folks that don't necessarily want to interact with the chat, maybe they're just watching, maybe they're on a phone and it's just not convenient, or maybe they're just not inclined to chat. I'll be perfectly honest. There's a lot of times I lurk in videos, reading the chat, not commenting, like the video, watch it for 2 hours, don't say anything. Because sometimes I just don't have anything to say. Sometimes it's channels that I'm, watching for the first time or what have you. So it's just, that's, and I think I think it works. Shout out to Lumix. Good to have you. John says, my son says, boo, waiting till December for Christmas to go up. So does my wife. And I will be fully transparent in sharing that before this, part of the reason that I was late is I was pulling all of our Christmas decorations out because my wife insisted that this is the weekend that she wanted to start decorating. So far be it from me to deny my wife one of her simple pleasures, which is Christmas decorating. She absolutely loves Christmas. So do I. Don't get me wrong. I love the Christmas season. I just don't need the Christmas season for like 8 weeks. You know what I mean? I need Christmas to be Christmas. So December is good. December works for me. Christopher Bouchard is here. It says, hello, Adam. Question, do you collect Monster Force? Yes, I do. And there is my wife lurking in the comments as well, saying Christmas is the best. Brian says I semi-lurk. You do not. You are fully engaged in the chat most of the time. Or are you? Maybe you're not, I guess. Josh says, I was just demonstrating. I know. I realized that as soon as I sort of realized that you put Toy Migos in there as well. Josh getting yelled at for being helpful. Yeah, pretty much. All right. Let's see here. Josh Brown Toy says, I can definitely do without Thanksgiving, so I'm down for 2 months of Christmas. That's fair. I mean, your Christmas season mileage may vary, I guess. Let's move on. I love Christmas. I genuinely love Christmas. It is my favorite holiday of the year. And part of the reason is because so in my real life, I'm relatively grumpy. And part of that is because I think well, I just prefaced it by saying I'm grumpy, so it won't come off as curmudgeonly or grumpy because I just said that I am. I genuinely believe that people are capable of so much good and have so much potential for kindness and generosity and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like 11 and a half months out of the year, they just aren't. And for 2 weeks around Christmas time, I genuinely feel like people are better. There's something that switches on in them at the Christmas season that makes people just behave better and be sort of the best version of themselves, the most generous version of themselves, the most caring, compassionate, kind versions of themselves, myself included. And so that's why I love Christmas. It's sort of the season where even the grumpiest among us tend to put that aside and be nice. So there you go. That's sort of Christmas for me. And I think this is Nolan based on the avatar there. He says, I'm the opposite. I hate Christmas, mostly because I hate winter and snow. That's fair. That's totally fair. I lived with a couple Kiwis for a while, and for them, Christmas meant like barbecues and going to the beach, which is totally weird. But I think you know what you hate about Christmas doesn't necessarily negate what I love about Christmas. So there's that. And Mr. Ryan Clark, yes, says at Christmas your heart grows twice its size. That's more or less what I've been told by doctors. Yes. White Vegeta is here as well. All right, so we're off to a pretty good start in the chat. And there's my wife again saying, I very much dislike snow. It can snow a bunch on Christmas Day, and then that is it. Yeah, I don't like snow. We got to shovel, we got to deal with roads, we got to deal with all that stuff. But to be honest, like snow at Christmas is the best. When you don't necessarily have to be anywhere, and in that like I said, that sort of 2-week window, if you're like late for work because of snow, I feel like most of the time your boss is like, well, it's Christmas, who cares? Everybody's just nicer. Brian Brink says, are the holidays about being nicer or less mean? I feel like there is a difference. It could be both, I guess. It could be both. I don't know. That's a good question, though, because you're right. There's a nuance to which one of those it in fact is. But anyway, let's get into some toy stuff. You know what? I just realized right now that I don't have any Animal Warriors of the Kingdom stuff. I don't have any zombie stuff. So if you're here for any of that stuff, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you're here for anything else, let's talk toys. And I just realized too that the two things in the thumbnail I don't even have prepped, but I don't know that there's much prep involved in talking about those. Let's get those out of the way, shall we? Give me 10 seconds to bring up two things very, very quickly. And I'll just bring this up because I can do this super quick. What was the other thing? That's the other thing. This is the other thing. All right, let's very, very quickly jump into this. Yeah. Love it, hate it. What are your thoughts? I don't really know what Kith is. I don't really need any of these figures. I have no feeling about this at all. But I feel like this was a really big sort of touch point over the last couple weeks. Like every channel was talking about this, about like, oh, what is this? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? Who's Kith? How hard are these going to be to get? I don't blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't care. E Honda just knocked these out for me, and I was not interested. But you know, the figures are cool, I guess, if you want figures that say Kith, which is I think like Supreme. That's my understanding. It's kind of like a lifestyle brand that made figures. And if you're a completist, this sucks for you. And if you're like me and you just collect cool toys and you play with your cool toys, and you're not really worried about having everything, especially when they're like double the retail for the same things in weird colorways. Um, you know, there you go. That's Kith. This dial looks dope though. I like the background that they had for these. But genuinely, like a weird green Captain America, a Wolverine that, to the best of my knowledge, isn't directly from anything in that specific colorway. I mean, or maybe it is. I mean, maybe these are like player two, you know, colorways or something like that. Ryu in a black suit, Mega Man with just Kith across his chest. It appears to be the same Mega Man figure, just with Kith across his chest. So I don't know. Were any of you guys like trying to get these? Did anybody get any of these? And by get, I mean, was it pre-order? Were they like available right away? I genuinely don't even know. Um, Raypad says hate all but the Ryu colorway. I mean, that Ryu colorway looks good, but I don't need it. I mean, I have Ryu player one, like the white gi, and I'm good. Like that's me for Ryu. I just need player one. Mr. Ryan Clark, completely indifferent to the Kith stuff. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I'm only bringing it up because everybody else did. Geek Fusion TV says this is a weird combo. Kith fans are not action figure fans, and vice versa. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that point before, and I think that that's kind of the point, you know, like that Kith fans are kind of fans of things that are hard to get, almost like they're like it's a weird one. I mean, I think if they had released like, okay, so say for example, you know, Marvel Legends did a Gamerverse figure, you know, that was like a player one colorway for a character that they haven't done yet, and made it a Kith exclusive. Or Jada made a Street Fighter. Say they made like Akuma was like a Kith only in his player one, you know, gear. I think there would be sort of grounds for being upset, but these, like I said, to me, don't seem. It doesn't seem like the end of the world to like not be able to get these. So I'm not. I kind of just don't care. Larry says pass. Geek Fusion TV. This just seems like an excuse to buy figures with ugly deco for inflated prices. Well, it kind of is. It kind of is. Rape has said he likes the Ryugi, but he says I don't need it either. I'm okay with not having it. Okay. Feels like it's mainly a clothing thing. Yeah, clothing, and they have like chairs and weird. It's weird stuff. Like I said, it's a lifestyle brand. So, Christopher Bouchard says I just bought my first Monster Force figure just now on BBTS. They're awesome. Monster Force figures are awesome. I don't have a ton of them, but what I have is fantastic. Ray says they did a pop up by my sister's place for Spider-Man a few years ago. Yeah, I think they've done like Marvel stuff before. Yeah, let me just check something here. I just realized that I've got the wrong microphone going. Check. There we go. We've updated the microphone, so it's the right microphone. It sounded weird. Does it sound better? Does it sound different? If it doesn't sound different, maybe I shouldn't be using the microphone at all. Anyways. Gabrielle is here, says, happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to you as well. Good to have you. Ray Pass says to Christopher Bouchard, which one? I'm actually curious too. Which Monster Force figure did you get? Mr. Ryan Clark, it does sound better. Thank you. Okay, good. My setup's been a little bit moody recently, so it keeps defaulting to the wrong hardware. Anyways, okay, so that's Kith. Let's move on, shall we? Because we don't care about Kith. Do we care about this? Does this mean more to people than Kith did? I feel terrible for this Tron HasLab. I genuinely do. I've said this before. I haven't talked much about this just because of timing. I think I mentioned this in a video that I really do genuinely think this is a cool offering. I think for me personally, it's too expensive. For me personally, $200. I think I probably would have backed this. But I'm genuinely confused. I'm genuinely confused by the use of this IP in terms of like the licensing. So you do a HasLab, crowdfunded campaign to offer a product that that doesn't fit in with anything else. It's not something that is sort of like the prequel or sort of the prelude to like a wider line, in terms of like 3 3/4 inch Tron, because they're doing 6-inch Tron as well that they revealed at the same time. Nothing about this makes sense from like a marketing perspective and from like a brand recognition or anything. Like Tron Ares came out, and as a result of Tron Ares coming out, they release. Was Tron 1982? Does somebody know sort of right off the, does somebody just know? 1982. So it's not like, it's not like the 40th anniversary. It's not the 45th anniversary. It's the 43rd anniversary of Tron. Like, none of this makes sense. This should have come out on the 40th anniversary, and it should have come out then so that it could sort of kick off, a line or something. Tron is I love Tron, and I genuinely can't wrap my head around how terrible they are at leveraging Tron to make money. It's just crazy. Like, this should have gone up, and then they should have revealed that they're doing a line of 3.75 inch figures. They're probably closer to 4, but for branding purposes, 375, the Hasbro 375 thing is fine. They're 1/18 scale, and then they're going to do a 1/12 scale of legacy figures. So Tron Ares comes out in 2025. At the same time, they announce a HasLab for 1/18 scale toys from a 1982 movie. After that, they reveal, there's no pre-orders. There's no sort of word on when these are going to come out. At this point, I feel like it's an if they're going to come out. They reveal that they're doing a 6-inch line, a 1/12 scale line for Tron Legacy that came out in like 2010. And there's still no Tron Ares toys. I don't understand any of this. None of this makes any sense. This is the most confusing IP. If you are a toy collector and a fan of Tron, you're screaming at Hasbro, trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Anyway, 1,200 backers. They need 10,000. There's a day and some change to go. Ay, 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 ay. This is gonna do work, and I think Brian Brink can back me up on this. This is going to do worse than the worst performing HasLab that they've ever had. The weird part about that is that I've heard way more people say that they actually like this one. Like, I genuinely feel like this is a cool offering, and I think a lot of people think this is a cool offering. That's a little too much. It's timed poorly. Like I said, there's nothing that sort of supports this. There's nothing that goes along with it. You get these 5 figures and 2 light cycles, and then that's it. That's it. And then they're done. That's it. That's the HasLab. The HasLab is you get them, and then you're done. I don't know. Weird. Ray Pass says it looks like no one cares. I love that movie, but I am not into it. I think meaning the HasLab. Geek Fusion TV. I love Tron, but this seemed like such a weird choice for a HasLab. That's what I'm saying. Ray Pass says I'm hyped for the SHF cartoon Clone Wars figures, though. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna touch on those. They look cool. I kind of like to pick up that SHF Yoda, but I kind of want more of like an Empire Strikes Back Yoda. But anyway, Larry's Geeky World says I like the Tron HasLab, just too expensive for what you get. I agree. I think it's like I said, if this is okay, so this is the other thing, and this is fairly recent. I think that if you back the HasLab, it's not $259.99. It's $259.99 plus like the HasLab fee of like $30 or something like that. And then when you sort of click on the thing, we're like, well, what is that? It says like, oh, this helps offset the shipping cost. But you get free shipping over a certain amount of dollars threshold. So like it just like don't do a HasLab fee and just make this the price that it should be. Don't like again, I feel like Hasbro don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Hasbro is a villain or like the corporation sucks. Don't get me wrong, but like Hasbro makes cool stuff. The folks that work there are trying to make cool stuff. I think there's so many things with this that just don't make sense. Ray Bouchard says I got the Monster Force Season 0 Phantom Core Trooper and the Defense loadout. Good choice. I lean more towards the monster stuff. So I've got a bunch of monsters. What's up, Quip? Good to have you, buddy. Geek Fusion TV, this is the kind of thing they should do if they released a 1/18 scale line for the Tron that was already successful. Exactly. Or announce that you're doing a 1/18 scale Tron line that's going to, be released and sort of ship, before you get this HasLab, and then go, and we're doing a HasLab. But as it stands, like if you want this is all you get, right? This is your Tron 1/18 scale collection. That's it. It's done. Quip says Hasbro has forgotten what their initial pitch for HasLabs was. This simply is not a dream project. I mean that I don't necessarily like. Yeah, from a certain point of view, I agree with. But in sort of the grander scheme of things, I mean, for a lot of people, like getting this is kind of this is sort of a dream project, but it doesn't dream bigger, I guess. Like if this is all we're gonna get from Tron, it's kind of not enough to be a dream project. So like that's where I'm kind of like, yeah, I agree to some extent. I think for a lot of people, this is a rad offering. But the fact that like this is what you get, this is the display. You can't, like if you buy 2, you can't connect them. There's no stretch goals. There's no additional figures that you can get. There's no additional anything that you can get. This is it. So it's just a product. It's just offering a product. Wasn't Tron Ares a stinker in the box office? Yes, it was. And Quib says this has general release written all over it. It should have been a single 375 line with mixed waves, 2 figures with OG Tron, 1 from Legacy and 2 from Ares. Yes, I agree 100%. And I think if you had that line, right, like if you had a couple waves of figures and then you'd announce this, And I genuinely also think that they didn't do a very good job of sort of selling the light up base. And maybe they didn't do a great job of like, dream projecting this, because I also think that a lot of this stuff should be lit up better and sort of, there should be like a thing where it's like, oh, under black light, this is what they look like under black light, and on and on. Like, I think you could just make this more Tron. I think you could just make this cooler. Anyway, Brian Brink says they announced the new 375 branding with this project. This launch is not looking good. I wonder how they feel about this whole 375 push. That was my thought exactly. I think when I did talk about this, about a month ago, like right when it, give or take, when it launched, that was my thing. Was like, okay, they've got this branding for Hasbro 375. What does this project mean for the future of 375? Because I would love to get 1/18 scale stuff. I mean, Star Wars Vintage Collection is kind of already there. They dabbled with GI Joe with this form function in terms of the sort of retro line that they did a couple years ago, which I thought was relatively successful, but I think only went about 8 figures and a couple vehicles. And then like, where do they go beyond that? I guess. What do they do? What do they do with it after this? I don't know. And maybe maybe they were just optimistic, and maybe it was never going to happen. I don't know. Geek Fusion TV. There's nothing about this HasLab that couldn't have been done at retail. I detect no lie there. The figures could have come out at normal retail. I think you could have done the 2 light cycles and the base as a release, like as its own release. It could have been a Hasbro Pulse exclusive or something like that. But I would have done the figures first. Again, like, this is just, I mean, we're sort of being Monday morning quarterbacks on this on a Sunday afternoon, but and a month late. I mean, there's a day left. It's not happening, so we're not getting these. But anyways, yeah, it's, I don't know. Quit. So Brian says it's performing under the Reva lightsaber, and Quip says, get ready for the largest last day spike ever. I don't think there's a spike big enough to save this thing. Mr. Ryan Clark says, it sounds like you're really paying $30 for shipping. Exactly. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb. Anyways, Gatey's Toys, had this been a playset instead of a chessboard, maybe dream project. I think that so I actually, like I said, I actually like this. I like this as a display with the light up. I just wish there was sort of more interactivity between the light cycles and the board, and the board and the figures kind of thing. Or if there is, they would have mentioned that and sort of sold it better. But anyway, we're getting stuck in this thing. I'm sort of, I gotta move on because I don't care about this. I don't care about this anymore. Retro Toy Princess Allison says, this is $200 of toys, even factoring in inflation and tariffs, and licensing. I think I agree. I think at $200, no problem, and at $200 without a HasLab sort of fee or whatever, I would have been down. And Quip, okay, so Quip says, I'm just saying they should have gone bigger, accentuate the black light and glow features, bigger grid, better vehicles. Yes. What's the weird sort of tower thing, the recognizer or whatever? Like, I think that could have been in here too. Like, make it $300 and offer more. Like, it's just not, it's not enough for $260. It's not enough to be a HasLab. It's just not enough. They tried, but it's just not enough. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the wheels don't roll, so get out of here. Josh says, I'm about to back it. Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Christopher Bouchard says, the only HasLab I backed was the Transformer Leo Kaiser Combiner. I've backed several. I've backed well, they've only been GI Joe classified ones. But I backed the Hiss, I backed the Dragonfly, I backed the Rattler. But anyway. Moving on to another product that I will not be buying. This is a Masters of the Universe Origins figure. I can't even remember what it's called. But it looks really cool. And if money weren't an object, or money weren't, related to my buying habits, I think this thing looks really, really cool. Now, again, let's move over to Mattel and dump on them for a minute, which I don't normally do, but I just okay. So Mattel Creations now has the like Masters of the Universe Club Grayskull membership thing, where if you spend, I think it's $10 US, and it's an annual, it's $10 just for the year. It's not that much. But as somebody that doesn't necessarily care enough about Masters of the Universe to want to be part of a Club Grayskull, I'm not paying. I'm not paying on it. I'm not paying a membership fee. I think the idea is a good idea, but at the same time, it's sort of like, okay, then I go and I go, oh, I kind of would like to get this Masters of the Universe Origins Red Shadow action figure. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let me go ahead and add it to my cart. No, you can't. You can't add it to your cart because you're not a member of the Cool Kids Club. You didn't spend the $10 US. It's 14 Canadian. I'm in Canada. If this is confusing anybody, I think it's like $22 US, and then the $10 membership, so it's like $32 for this figure. Nah, I'm good. I think Origins, I think if they had done the Club Grayskull 3 years ago or 4 years ago, it might have made more sense. They're now into the sort of, hey, we created this figure from the concept art or from a card back or from something like that. If you want it bad enough, you'll become a member and buy this figure. I think they've kind of jumped the shark a little bit. I think that if you look at all the members only Origins that they've done, you look at everything that they've sort of got going on right now with Masters of the Universe in terms of like new designs and concept figures and crossovers and stuff like that. I'm not a Masters of the Universe guy, so don't sort of jump on me for this. But I think there's diminishing returns on Masters of the Universe right now, which is all the more reason that for the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, they should have done way more than they have. Origin She-Ra and Swiftwind is dope. They should have done more of that. We should have got the Crystal Castle. We should have got more She-Ra figures. We should have got more Horde figures, whether they were sort of the Origin style, whether they were cartoon classic style, whatever. They should have decided this is what we're doing. They should have said, here's the roadmap for 2025, and it's going to carry over into 2026. And now we're going to do tons of She-Ra stuff. They did some She-Ra stuff, not enough. They did not do enough She-Ra stuff. And all of the paywall stuff, so all of the Club Grayskull stuff still available. So, if you were on the fence about Club Grayskull, but now you want all the figures that they still have, now might be the time to spend the $10 and get those figures, or wait till Black Friday, or wait till early 2026 when everything goes on sale, and you can get it for pennies on the dollar, because they'll probably still be available. I don't know. That's my rant. My rant is over. We'll move on from the HasLab after this, but Mr. Ryan Clark said, I only backed the Hell Charger. Really? But I regret not backing the Ecto one. That's fair. Larry's Geeky World says, is that a Mr. Beast collab? I don't think so, but I genuinely don't know. I think it's a character that comes from one of the mini comics or like from concept art or something like that. Like it's just, but it's a deep cut. It's a deep cut. Josh Brown, screw Mattel for these basically weekly drops that are separate and you have to pay shipping each time. Yeah, agreed. It's kind of lame. I'd almost rather they do waves. Yeah. Yep. Allison says, yeah, they dropped the ball on Shira's 40th. Big time. Big time dropped the ball. They should re-release the new Masterverse Shira since I missed it. Where did I see it recently? The new Masterverse Shira, if you mean the new Eternia one, I think it's popping up at Ross now, which doesn't make any sense because it was like I ordered it and then my order got canceled and then it popped up in stock and I ordered it again and got it. And now it's at Ross for like 12 bucks, 14 bucks. Go figure. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Ryan Clark says, I don't have much space for vehicles or giants. Something really has to grab me. Yeah, for HasLab stuff, for sure. For sure. And Allison Troy, who knows way more than me about Masters of the Universe stuff, says Red Shadow is a creation of Alex Jimenez, inspired by the werewolf in the original Castle Grayskull dungeon sticker. So there you go. That's where the deep cut is. This is from the original Grayskull sticker, which is this is like Modi. This is a Modi type figure. And if you don't know Modi, shame on you. Josh Brown, who certainly seems to feel a particular way about Masters of the Universe Origin stuff, says they need to finish making all the vintage figures in Origins like they said and stop dragging it out. I think their fear is if they stop dragging it out, people will stop paying attention. However, I get the sense that maybe people have already stopped paying attention. Gatey's Toy says Stratos' southern redneck cousin. Maybe. Retro Toy Princess Allison says he was originally created for classics, but was never made when Super 7 sort of slow rolled Motu when they took it over from Mattel. There you go. They've already stopped paying attention. Yeah, I think so. I think people have just kind of moved on. I think people that wanted those figures, I think this is the kind of thing that they should have done 3 or 4 years ago. This should have come in a wave. You know, if they had 4 figures in a wave, they should have done sort of 3 vintage inspired and then something like this. And then 3 vintage inspired and then something like this. I think they waited too long to do the concept art stuff, to do the like deep cut stuff. And I think it's that sort of very difficult line of like, okay, when's the best time to introduce new stuff or different stuff or deep cut stuff? And I think I'll be honest, if I look at like G.I. Joe Classified, I think they've done a really good job of rolling out new stuff and deep cut stuff along with the other stuff. So I think there's still characters that people want in G.I. Joe Classified. And I think as long as you can keep people interested in the line, waiting for figure 100 that they wanted, figure 99 can still be something that's a little bit more of a deep cut. But I just genuinely think that from the jump, Classified did a better job of sort of training their customers to sort of want everything, if that makes sense. Yeah, anyway. Let's move on from this fella, shall we? To Creative Beast Studios. So this is Legion's. Today's episode is brought to you by my mind full of random stuff. None of this is in any sort of sequential order or anything. It was just every time I sort of thought of a thing I wanted to talk about, I just kind of threw it in there. So Creative Beast Studios, this is what they had at Legion's Con. So these are 2 prototype figures. This is the Acrocanthosaurus as well as the Bristle Dragon. This is a smaller dragon, which I'm very, very excited about for 2 reasons. 1, I don't have enough space, and 2, I don't have enough money. Actually, a third reason is because this dragon is actually the first of the dragons that will be a mount. I thought the Serpent Dragon might become a mount because it's sort of shown that way in some of the art, but so far there's been no mention of it being a mount. The Bristle Dragon will be a mount for Dragolina, who is a figure that's over here. So there's going to be like a harness or a saddle that goes on the Bristle Dragon. Acrocanthosaurus, I think, is just going to get the full armor. I have opened and unboxed and played with my Wave 1 Cyberzoic stuff. I love it, but it is finicky. It is a little bit frustrating to deal with some of the armors, but I'm still here for all of it. I love this stuff. I think it looks so good. And I think that Wave 1 is good, and I think they're just going to get better. So I can't wait to see more of this stuff. Let's see. Allison said, and let me go back. Allison said, with a certain segment of Motu fans, there is no good time. When they tried to put new characters in with vintage, they complained about the new characters. Some people only want vintage, and that sucks. And that's fair. I mean, I guess that's totally fair. I think from my perspective, if you release 4 figures in Wave 1 and 3 of them are like He-Man, Skeletor, and Moss Man. And then just because I love Moss Man, I know that Moss Man it got mixed reviews. So if you do Skeletor, He-Man, and Moss Man, and then this guy in Wave 1, way back in what was it, 2020, the first wave came out, then you sort of set a precedence. But what that also means is you still have, that 4th figure that could have been a vintage one can roll into Wave 2, and then you can do 3 more in Wave 2. My point being, you have more vintage figures later down the line. Even if people are only buying 3 of 4, you can effectively have more waves. That was the point that I was making, because I know that there's some people that only want the vintage stuff and have no interest whatsoever in anything that isn't a toy that they already had, which is weird to me, but whatever. Ray Paz says, can't wait to get that T-Rex. If you mean this Acrocanthosaurus, then I agree. Not a T-Rex, though. Not a T-Rex. It's an Acrocanthosaurus. I didn't know that was a thing until Creative Beast Studios told me about them. but I've said to them, you could name a dinosaur anything you want, and I'd be like, oh, okay, sure. If the figure's cool, I'll believe that was real. And Brian Brink's point, he says, okay, so that winged beast wasn't a real dinosaur. No, it was not. So Creative Beast Studios with their Cyberzoic line is doing real dinosaurs as well as real mammals, primarily from the Mesozoic era, and sort of mashing them together in like a sci-fi lore that's on a different planet that's called Gaia 2. Where they have dinosaurs, they have mammals, and they have local species. So the dragons are effectively local indigenous species to this planet, and all the different dragons sort of are from different climates. What's the word for that? Different ecosystems. So the Kurokami is the Arctic dragon, and then the serpent dragon is sort of like a jungle thing. I don't know about the bristle dragon. I think it might be kind of like desert-y type thing. So they're kind of, the dragons have evolved in their sort of settings, which is really, really cool. If you ask David Silva, who is the head of Creative Beast Studios, he has a whole lore on all the dragons. Like, he has the evolutionary history on all the dragons and why they look the way they do, why some have wings and some don't. Kurokami, the Arctic dragon, doesn't fly. He has vestigial wings, but he doesn't fly. And David could tell you the whole sort of reason for that and why and what he eats and all that kind of stuff. So like David he has such a cool sort of brain for all of this. And sort of that's part of the reason that he started doing the dinosaurs, is because he wanted to get here eventually. He wanted to get to Cyberzoic eventually. And Larry says they look sick. Absolutely. Ray says it gives us something different from all the military stuff. Yep. Larry says my Dragon Slayer armor was missing some pieces. Oh, that's a bummer. Let them know, because I'm sure they'll hook you up. Wesley K, who I'm pretty certain is a pretty big Creative Beast Studio fan as well. Says Creative Beasts Eons Mammoths also start shipping this week. They absolutely do. I think they said they were arriving in the factory in the fulfillment warehouse, and they were going to start shipping after Thanksgiving, so next week kind of thing. And Brian says, I'm kind of jealous of Origins collectors. So many figures and deep cuts too. Yeah, they got lots of stuff. Josh Brown says, I'm all for new stuff, but the spacing, to Adam's point, is bad. I'm afraid the line will die before it's done. Yeah, possibly. Can't wait to see a Bronto squirrel. Well, I mean, maybe. Never say never. Ray Pass says, that's great, but in my head, that dragon is a flyer. Kuro Kami is not a flyer, but the Serpent Dragon is a flyer, and the Bristle Dragon is a flyer. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I also kind of like that, a dragon that doesn't fly. It's the biggest of the dragons that they've done. So that's part of it too, is that part of the reason part of the reason it doesn't fly is because it's so big. It's like too big to fly almost. But anyway, that was the prototypes that they had Legions Con. Here's a sort of a better picture of the Bristle Dragon next to Dragalina. So that's a 1/18 scale figure for anybody that's like not familiar with the Cyberzoic stuff. So she's about 4 inches tall. And then the Bristle Dragon is called the Bristle Dragon. There's a bigger, better picture of it with its wings. The wings are going to be articulated. Everything's articulated. It's Creative Beast Studios. They do a great job. It's going to have alternate tail pieces. So the Bristle Dragon has a bristly tail that when it's in sort of like attack mode, the bristles all come out. And then when it's sort of relaxed, they sort of fold down, which again, it's just the sort of biology of a dragon is pretty cool that there would be that kind of differentiation and that much diversity and sort of that much lore attached to a creature that you could just say, hey, here's your cool toy, let's move on. But nope, not Mr. David Silva. They also had some of their mammals. So this is the Beast of the Cenozoic stuff. So there's the mammoth that Wesley K was talking about, and then the baby mammoth in the foreground there. So this guy right here and this guy right here are going to be available for anybody that backed the Eons backer kit, or for anybody that pre-ordered the Beasts of the Cenozoic mammoth or baby mammoth. And then here's some sort of future releases. The Acrocanthosaurus, this thing that I don't know what it is. It looks like a little pig, but I know it's not. It's a mammal. It's I don't know. I don't know anything. When they have cool toys, they have cool toys. The 1/18th scale Smilodon, the 1/35th scale mammoth, and then a 1/18th scale woolly rhino, which is a future release, which I'm excited about too. I can't wait for the mammoth and the Cyberzoic mammoth. I want an armored mammoth. That's going to be awesome. Josh Brown says the Bristle Dragon sure as hell better have bristles. It does. Ray says need the comic to come out. Yes. They were saying it's basically done and they just had to figure out how to release it. So I don't know, like release it as a PDF. I don't care. Do physical copies later. I need it. That pic is a cross sell for trees. Yeah, that was Duarte Studios right on the backside of it. It's just a very convenient picture, I guess. Is the huge mammoth 1/18th? Yes, it is. It's about 8 inches to the top of its back. Gatey's Toy says, I never knew I needed a mammoth until now. Go to the Creative Beast Studio YouTube page, and they've already done like a video for it. It looks like it's phenomenal. Like it can balance on one of its front feet. It's the articulation is phenomenal on that thing. Yeah, Ray Pass says I asked about the comic this week, just pushing for the comic. Yeah, I need the comic too. I mean, I'm all in, and I haven't even seen the lore, or I haven't seen the comic. I've read any bit of lore that they would give me, but they haven't given us much. Moving on. I also got my Red Shadows at Legion's Con. I picked up the 4-inch Wolf Trooper in the mail this week. I got my 6-inch scale Wolf Trooper, Geyer Wolf, and then this little accessory pack. All of them look amazing. I'm very, very excited to get them open. You can look forward to an unboxing video for that stuff probably in the next week to 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about this stuff. I am also very excited about the next 6-inch release, which is the actual Skeletron figure. I actually had to reach out to Ben and ask him if I had ordered this or not, because I could not for the life of me remember. But they had the prototype of this, and this thing looks awesome. If you dig 4-inch or 6-inch figures, the Skeletron stuff is really, really good. The 6-inch stuff, this 6-inch stuff will all be this is available now. These 6-inch ones will be available starting Friday, and then this is to be determined, not released yet, but coming soon. Moving on from this, Honda. This figure looks awesome. I love the Jada Street Fighter stuff. Really, really digging everything that they have done so far with the Street Fighter line, and I can't wait for more. Honda is one of my favorites. Just because he's cool. I mean, he's just the big, bulky sumo wrestler that moves incredibly fast and has that really cool sort of hand thing that he does. That is, not far off of what you see sumo wrestlers do, apart from the speed, but still, they're pretty fast. But anyway, when I was trying to pull the pictures, for some reason I was getting like I was getting this nice vibrant picture, and then when I would pull the other pictures, they were all gray. So I'm gonna switch to some other pictures that I found. So there's that same gray picture, but in a nice color. I feel like this is what it's gonna look like in hand, and he looks phenomenal. The only thing I wish Jada would do with these is put another figure next to them. Like put Ryu next to Honda so I know how big he is. I can only imagine that he's going to be big, but I have no idea how big. There's no way, and I've seen them in displays and stuff like that, but by the time they get to production, sometimes they're a little bit different. So I'm genuinely very curious to see, how he scales. But the figure looks amazing. Articulation wise, Jada is killing it. Like Jada's articulation schemes are really, really good. The fact that you can get this big chunky guy in this, pose is fantastic. And that diaphragm cut as well. You can kind of get him in a completely different pose here, and it doesn't look like the sculpt is broken up. Like the sculpt doesn't look weird and ugly. They've used that soft rubber for the sort of skirting part as well. So it seems like that doesn't inhibit any of the articulation, which is fantastic. Huge big butterfly joints there. So his arms seem to be able to move really, really well. You get the alternate head. So there's I thought I had two pictures that sort of really showed the range of motion for the diaphragm cut, but close enough. That's a lot of movement, because it looks like that's rotated almost 90 degrees relative to the stomach. And angled. So very, very impressed by that. The effects piece looks amazing. It looks like you pop the hand off, pop that on, and then pop the hand back on. It looks awesome. It looks super, super cool. I can't wait to get this figure. I am constantly in awe of what Jada is doing in terms of price point, articulation, just the quality of their figures. I did a video for Tony the Tiger that I posted yesterday, and I was like, I expected Tony the Tiger to just sort of stand on my shelf because he's Tony the Tiger, but the articulation and like just how cool he looks and how well he moves and how balanced he is ridiculous. They're doing amazing work, and their figures are still like $30, which is bonkers, because there's not a ton of reuse that you're gonna get out of Tony the Tiger. They might do a recolor, right? Maybe there's a glow in the dark version or a red hot cornflakes version, frosted flakes version. I don't know. But yeah, Jada's killing it. And Ray Pass says this will be pre-ordered tomorrow for sure. I'm pre-ordering this tomorrow for sure as well. I can't wait to get this figure. Ryan Clark says E Honda would make a great custom of a deep cut Iron Fist character were someone so inclined. I'm not even worried about that. I just want E Honda for E Honda. We need to know how deep E Honda can squat. I think he can squat pretty deep. And Ray Pass says that's ridiculous if it truly can hold that pose. I don't doubt that it can hold any of these poses. Ray Pass says Jada is the absolute best. They're killing it, man. They're killing it right now. And Ray says that was a fun review. Thank you. I had fun opening and playing with it. So much fun that now I want all of this stuff. This is straight up the thumbnail from a Toy Migos video. But it had everything I wanted in one picture, and I couldn't find a better picture to get all the stuff. So this has Scooby-Doo stuff. And Ray, I think it was you that might have asked, like, somebody asked me in the comments of the Tony the Tiger video whether I ordered Scooby-Doo. I did. I ordered Scooby-Doo, and now I'm probably going down that rabbit hole. Because these are just so much fun, and Jada just keeps knocking it out of the park. So wave 1 for Scooby-Doo was of course Scooby. The what are they? The lurker, the stalker. What's the creeper? I don't know what he's called. Plus the mummy. Wave 2 is the sea monster, and did I say Scooby was wave 1? Shaggy is wave 1. Scooby's wave 2. Wave 2 is Scooby-Doo, the sea monster, and then the space kook. And then wave 3 is Daphne, Charlie the robot, and the deep sea diver, which I don't know if it's glow in the dark or not, but it should be. If it's not, it should be. So yeah. Ray Pez says, can't wait to see Fred and Velma. And he says, you won't regret it. I love the Scooby figures so far. And that's the thing, is that I was really wanted them, and then I was like, nah, I probably don't need it. And then I've never had a bad Jada figure. So the best thing that Jada can do for me as a collector is just sell me cool stuff, and then I just want more of your cool stuff. Anyways, yeah, I'm very, very excited for this stuff. Can't wait for more. And so because I can't wait for more, I've decided that I'm gonna get Scooby-Doo stuff. No, but I can't. I'm very excited, for all the Street Fighter stuff. I think right now we have Balrog and Akuma on pre-order, and then E Honda will be up for pre-order, and then there's really only a couple figures left, I think, from like the main lineup. There's not much left. And then Scooby-Doo, what they basically said is that for Scooby-Doo waves, they're going to do sort of one of the main characters and then 2 monsters. And so each wave is like 3 figures. And if they kind of keep doing them at this pace, it's about 1 wave per year. And one wave per year of 3 figures, I think, is a very manageable pace to be collecting, especially when there's so many other lines out there. I know that there's probably a lot of people that are probably thinking like, oh, I love Scooby-Doo, I want it all now. But back to the point of Origins feeling like it's almost run its course. I'm not opposed to people taking their time. I'm not opposed to toy lines sort of coming out at a pace that doesn't bankrupt me. So I know that's if they want to make money, they should make more stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, that's fair. But most people only have so much money. If they did all the figures, would there be people that sort of struggled to get them? Would there be the casual fans like me that just went, no, I'm good. I'm going to pass on them. But Mr. Ryan Clark says it'll take 5 years to complete the Scooby Gang. Yeah, but that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. There's a lot of other stuff I've been collecting a lot longer than 5 years. You know what I mean? I mean, that's all I think. That's sort of how I think about it. So, and Mr. Ryan Clark says, I'm down for the Scooby Gang, but I have to draw the line at the monsters. What about the Mystery Machine? Would you buy the Mystery Machine? I'm curious to know. I'm genuinely curious because I think if you get the whole gang and you get a few monsters, you get the Mystery Machine, it's really just where you store your figures. So it's kind of just like makes sense. Red 5 says, I'm getting Shaggy tomorrow. I don't know when I'll get mine, but when I get it, I'm definitely going to be talking about it. So, Ray Pass says, I love Jada's Universal Monsters figures. I play with the glow in the dark creature from the Black Cocoon. It's a favorite, and I missed that one. And I'm still, every once in a while, I sort of have it in a cart. But then I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to get the Sea Demon from Scooby Doo. So maybe if they come back around with those, I might get them a second time. Yeah, anyway. Gatey's Toys just got wave 1 and love them. Perfect. Good to hear. Ray says, I hope they go in deep. They had a Scooby series that had guest stars. I'd love to see a few of them. That's a good take too. I mean, once we have once we have all the 5 main characters, you could start getting into some of the special guests, and you could start getting into sort of like other stuff. If you still had monsters that you wanted to do too, as well, I suppose. Sean Forster says they need to balance the wait time. 5 years is too long to hold interest. Even there are delays, folks might tap out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't know what their schedule is, but at this point, we got Scooby last year. We're getting Wave 2 in 2026. At this point, whether we'll get Wave 3 in 2026, I don't know. Looking at how Jada does things, maybe it's 2 waves in a year. The Street Fighter stuff seems to be kind of 1, 2, even 3 figures per wave, but it's been kind of choppy as far as waves go. And we've gotten everything in 2 years, right? We get about 10 figures in 2 years. So if Scooby's sort of along that line, maybe wave 1 is 2025. Maybe there's 2 waves in 2026. Maybe it's 2 waves in 2027. So 2.5 years from sort of initial delivery of Shaggy in wave 1 to what would Velma be the 5th one? Probably Velma. Poor Velma. I don't know. Ray Paz, this is the first thing that I thought of when I thought of like who could sort of the Scooby Doo, Batman and Robin, Joker, like a Jada, Penguin and Joker through the eyes of the Scooby Doo sort of filter would be awesome. I don't own a Batman figure, but if they did that, I might very well pick one up. Ryan Clark says, of course I would get the Mystery Machine. I'm not a monster. Yes. Would we go? I mean, when does Scooby Doo turn into Origins though? Like, would people want Scrappy? Like what? How much? How deep could it go? I mean, Scrappy's not even a deep cut, but like, would people want Scrappy Doo? I don't know. Anyway, all right, one more thing to share, and then I have a very serious thing I need to talk about. Very quickly, just wanted to share the Odious Kickstarter. If you are sort of not aware of this, Wade from Unparalleled Universe is doing a Kickstarter right now for newer versions of Odious. So we got the original version of Odious last year in a Kickstarter. He now has a Kickstarter for 2 more versions. These are those 2 more versions, the Cowboy and the Soldier. If you're at all interested in this, definitely get over there and check this out and support Wade, support Odious, support this line if you are so inclined. I'll be honest, I relatively new to sort of the whole toy tube world, didn't know who he was until relatively recently. So the Odious thing is a little bit lost on me. I know that a lot of people are absolutely loving these figures. I've heard nothing but great things about them. And so, yeah, I just wanted to mention that this Kickstarter is live right now. So go check it out. Go check out Odious. Go see what they're offering. The figures look amazing, and yeah, if you want to back it, do it. I think this guy looks awesome. I think Army Odious looks great. I think the Ronin Odious is my favorite. So if this funds, there's actually going to be 2 more versions that are going to be Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, which I think is sort of mentioned in here as well. But if you want sort of a Wild West cowboy Odious, you've got an option there too. Lots of really cool soft goods, lots of really cool figures, lots of cool stuff going on. So just wanted to shout out Wade and Unparalleled Universe and the Kickstarter that he's currently running. If you are so inclined, go check that out. Okay. For several years, I have been struggling with a very serious problem. I love Christmas, but I don't have a Christmas sweater. I don't have a great Christmas sweater. So my problem is that now I've sort of discovered a website where I can get great Christmas sweaters. My problem now is that I can't decide which one to get. So it's not a serious problem at all. Let's see. Before we get to this, Sean Forrester says Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt after the main villains for me. Mr. Ryan Clark says, "Give me Scrappy and Scooby Doo's weird cousin in the same pack." Yeah, that's a good call. Scooby Doo's other cousin, Scooby D. I think Sean Forster was referring to the Odious. A little too pricey for me. They're fantastic figures. They are a little on the pricey side for sure. Past you almost made me cry. For what? I didn't even say that I had like a real problem. You made it sound like you were ill. No, I mean that's good. That's just good acting. I guess. It's not a real problem. Oh, what's up, Wade? Good to have you, buddy. Yeah, go back. Like I said, go back Wade's Kickstarter. Those figures look amazing. You need them. You need them in your life. Just like I need a Christmas sweater in my life. So I've narrowed it down to a few options, and I want to share them with you. This one for obvious reasons. I mean, it's Yoda being Yoda. This one's great, and I can't get all of them. So I know that, like in my heart, what the easy answer to this is all of them. But this is what I've narrowed them down to: a Star Wars Christmas sweater with Yoda on it, a Star Wars Christmas sweater with the Ewoks on it, which feels a little less Christmassy, but very much in line with what I love. A Thundercats Christmas sweater that I think is a very good use of the Thundercats Ho call to action. A Ninja Turtles one that has a shell on the back. And then I think that's it. I think that was the last. I think there's 4. Yeah, that's it. So there's 4. I'm down to 4. 2 Star Wars ones, a Thundercats one, and the Ninja Turtles one. But I just can't decide which one to get. I'm leaning towards the Thundercats one, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I feel like it's the most Christmassy one. But then again, this feels really Christmassy as well, and it feels like it feels like it's immediately identifiable as a Christmas sweater. This one's slightly less so. This one's slightly, less as well. I mean, but it's a really cool Ninja Turtles one. I'm thinking at this point, this is what I've sort of, this is my thought process. This is my sort of collector brain working. I was like, well, if I buy one of them this year, as a collector, if I buy one a year, I mean, I could have all of them in 4 years. So there's always that. But anyway, that's my current struggle. That's my current sort of collection struggle, where I can't decide which sweater is the coolest one. Where's the Odious Christmas sweater? Well, you'd have to talk to Wade about that one. Mr. Ryan Clark says, you had me at shell on the back. Dude, how cool is that? Like, what a cool way to do it. Larry says, you want the Ewoks. Ray says, get 2 of them. If I get 2 and then 2 next year, then I'd have all 4 of the ones that I want currently. Red 5 says, tell Jason we need an Ewok sweater. Brian Brink, Ewoks versus Thundercats, tough choice. Larry says Return of the Jedi all the way. Ray Paz says I'd go with Turtles and Thundercats. It's tough, man. It's tough. These are the very, very difficult life decisions that I have to make. These are the sort of things that keep me up at night. These are the things that stress me out. What else? That's pretty much all I got today, guys. Anything else that we should talk about? Anything else that you guys want to talk about or mention? Or am I missing anything? Was there any comments that I missed? Was there anything cool that I missed release wise? I don't think so. I mean, I think that was, there's cool releases that I didn't talk about, but they're probably just stuff that I'm, for whatever reason, maybe not that interested in. Yeah, but that's all I got. Brick will be doing his thing today. He will be on in about 20 minutes. So if you are so inclined, pop over to the Brick Something channel and watch the news. I think he's got Quip on this week, actually. I think he's got a couple guests on today. I think Quip being one of them. So jump over there and hang out with Brick. And I hang out with a lot of these cool folks as well. I usually sort of jump in there for a little bit if I'm not too busy. As I said, I did bring Christmas decorations up, so I might very likely be putting up my Christmas tree while watching it. So, Red 5 says, "Did I miss the pop out bodies for AWOC talk?" No. Okay, so that's a good question. We failed to mention on Monkey Business last week that going forward, future waves of Animal Wars of the Kingdom figure will separate at the waist. So at this up to this point, to sort of remove the skirt piece, you basically had to pop the leg off and then you could slide it down. Now we're gonna change it so that the waist and the torso will separate, which they didn't before. So that was, but we had forgotten about that because we had so much other stuff that we were talking about. So, Larry says he's already on. He's already on. What the heck? He started early. Okay, so go check out Brick Something's channel. I'll wrap it up and get out of here. As always, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll be back next week. I think, barring any real. So come on back and hang out next week. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, I woke up this morning feeling pretty damn tired. I was up all night at a moonlight fire. There was beer, whiskey, beautiful girls, but you know we can't afford no diamonds and pearls. So I told them I was famous for singing this song. I thought for a while I'd strung them along. One said, fellas, got a pretty good game. Tomorrow I won't even remember his name. Well, living and loving and driving fast cars. Whether I'm here or I'm on Mars, I'm gonna die young, baby, that I know. But I'll leave a beautiful memory when I go. I'll play that just like your daddy taught you.